Every city has its icons, but once in a while, a home transcends comparison. From its architecture to its atmosphere, One of One redefined Charlotte luxury. Beyond design and marketing, its legacy lives in the people who told its story.
He is by far one of the best marketers in this market when it comes to real estate.
And then, work ethic standpoint was, quite frankly, unbelievable.
Steve's obviously a complete professional. I try to learn as much as I can from him.
Anything great is going to be super hard.
Steve, being the listing agent for this home, how did you feel the first time you walked into the estate?
I mean, you're just in awe the first time that you walk into the home, and you just, actually, when you're driving up to the property and you see the estate and how beautiful and the presence, the prestige of it all. Then you walk in and there's soaring ceilings and just the most beautiful fixtures, and from the handcrafted flooring to like the details like the hinges, you just take it all in. And it's honestly, it's hard to take in because there's so much, it's overwhelming. There's an aura, there's a presence. So you see it all. And then, but very quickly I kind of realized, like, I've seen it, now how do we get the job done, and how do we present it?
And I felt that as soon as I drove up today. You just feel that aura and that prestige. And what made you want to call it One of One?
I've had the blessing and the privilege of being in some of the most beautiful homes in the greater Charlotte area. And so I've seen incredible homes. And this takes nothing away from any of those, but this is unlike any of those. And when you think about how a home, an estate can stand out, you immediately begin to understand it has to have its own brand. It has to have its own life. And then it's like, well, what is that?
From private showings to curated events, One of One became more than a home. It became a moment in Charlotte's luxury scene. All right, so Josh, what was it like to partner with SL Home Group on this One of One event?
Well, I mean, SL Home Group, especially Steve and Zach as well, and their whole team, it's always fun partnering with people that have the same values as you do, work ethic, and, one, partnering with them, but more importantly, watching them kind of operate behind the scenes, right? Anytime you're listing a home, no one truly knows what's happening on the back end or behind the scenes.
Right.
And just watching them, from a creative standpoint and then, work ethic standpoint was, quite frankly, unbelievable. The media aspect of shooting videos for the property or hosting events. I mean, the events that were hosted here to help showcase the property were incredible. The people that showed up, the overall atmosphere was awesome. So, professionalism, obviously, they do it the best.
As the months went on, the journey tested more than strategy. It tested conviction. But through every adjustment and every conversation, the team behind One of One never lost sight of what made it special. Tell me a little bit about the behind the scenes of the property.
Yeah, behind the scenes was really awesome to witness. Steve's obviously a complete professional. I try to learn as much as I can from him. He's a sponge. And particularly with this property, there was a lot of work put in on the front end. It was obviously as a whole, the process was a lot longer than your typical transaction, but even the lead up to it was definitely a lot more invasive, a lot more detailed, a lot more preparation than what we typically see on a day-to-day.
Can you tell me about that prep?
There was an intro call to kind of feel things out. From there, Steve, the team, we connected on sort of a strategy and where we were going to take this and how we were going to put together our listing presentation.
Behind every great sale is a team that believes in the vision. For Steve, that meant surrounding himself with people who understood the strategy, trusted the process, and never stopped believing that the right buyer would come. So Laura, what was your first reaction when you found out that you'd be presenting one of one?
I was very excited, nervous. It was a big presentation, but it was, so exciting because it was something that I think neither Steve or I had done before. And so that was exciting to do something different and new and really do the best at presenting this.
Absolutely. And was it kind of a big undertaking? Were you a little bit nervous going into it, or you're like, I'm just ready to go?
I was nervous. I was very focused on making sure that we presented this house as a brand and not just as a home. It has a history there, behind the developer and behind the family that lived here. And it was very special, and you could tell it was special to a lot of people. And so that was the main focus, was how do we present this, but as it is such a special place to be.
And what do you think makes it so special, and what is so unique about this brand specifically?
I mean, you walk through the house and you see the floors and you see the walls, and you're like, you can feel it, you can touch it, and you go through it. And so that was the easy part in presenting and creating this brand, was that the house really speaks for itself. So there really wasn't that much to do. We just needed to make sure that the brand fit the presentation of the home.
It's bigger than one person, but at the same time, how do you feel like working with Steve? What made it different working with him compared to someone else?
Well, he is by far one of the best marketers in this market when it comes to real estate, and he's really always willing to step outside of the comfort zone of what a standard, real estate package looks like and how you market it. And that was what this house was we did everything that no one else is doing, and that's what made it so special.
I am amazed what you have done in here as the interior designer, but also artist too.
Thanks, yeah.
You've done so much.
It's been fun.
Tell me more about the whole process of how you were making certain choices in here.
Well, the house was the original, so we ended up with a really dark palette. So first, this room, we just wanted to lighten it up. So get really dark, heavy, beautiful silk drapes, but get them down, show the beautiful backyard, the trellis and everything. So we ended up taking out the doors, painting over everything, adding the texture with the wallpaper, pulling up the heavy rug, and really lightening up with the furniture and adding different seating arrangements. And one thing that was really important for the homeowners was to keep the original crystal chandeliers. So we knew the room had to be dressy and elevated just because the chandeliers were.
Well, the playroom upstairs, it's even gotten awards. It is just unreal. Tell me about that.
We were brought in to give them a fun Christmas gift, and what a cool room. That it had your traditional before, that it just had a sofa and a day bed and white walls, and the sky was the limit. They just said, bring in color, bring in texture.
I will say that he was honestly fantastic from day one. The very first day I met him, I instantly liked him. Through the entire process, he stayed the course, he never wavered. He was always so professional, so communicative. He just really embodied I feel what they were looking for. And we all just felt like he was up to the task. It literally, I say to this day, he was the absolute best choice. There's no regret, and I would do it with him all over again.
I want to kind of go back to some of your emotions that we were talking about.
Yeah.
I know you said that you kept this close to your chest. You didn't even tell a lot of people about maybe some of the emotions going throughout this. What was it like when you were able to tell your family about this accomplishment?
Oh man, I didn't know we were going to talk about family this time. They see everything that nobody else sees. Mm-hmm. And
you're creating your own legacy here.
Yeah, I mean, they see the 1 a.m. mornings. You know, you don't come home because you got it. You do what it takes to get the job done. They ask questions. My kids are now old enough to you know, they're old enough to know what's going on. It's been really cool to share this experience with them. You know, on a couple occasions where I have to do something, stop by the house to fix something or pick something up or drop something off. On a couple occasions they've been with me, so they've been able to see this. So for them to actually, in a really small way but a significant way, see what it takes to get something like this done, that's been really cool.
It's absolutely amazing. And what do you think is the biggest lesson or the biggest takeaway that you've gotten from this, and maybe what's something that you want your kids to learn through this?
Anything great is going to be super hard. Anything great is going to be super hard. You know, and if it's not really going to feel super great. And so this is something that I think we all can take a lot of pride in kind of doing it together. But I want them to know, like, if you really want to be the best of the best and kind of operate in the best of the best circles or results, it's going to be really hard. So there's going to be the wide range of emotions. And so I would want them to know that.
Every detail, every decision, every dream. That's what makes it one of one. A story that began with a vision and will live on as a legacy.